Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. So far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti, and let's get into it with the first animal week being Sparosoma viride, better known as the stoplight parrotfish. It is a species of fish in the family Scaridae, which inhabits both onshore and offshore reefs throughout the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, and along the Atlantic coasts of Brazil, Bermuda, and the U.S. state of Florida. They are only active during the day and spend most of their time foraging, swimming, or hovering, whilst remaining hidden under corals and boulders at night. These fish rarely feed upon various kinds of algae growing on the reef, but are also known to regularly consume coral when algae is less available. In healthy coral reef environments, the detriment of coral feeding by parrotfish tends to be offset by the benefits of their algal feeding. However, in declining coral reefs, corallivery by parrotfish tends to only further stress the ecosystem. Stoplight parrotfish are themselves eaten by various eels, octopus, dolphins, porpoises, sharks, and large bony fish. Stoplight parrotfish tend to average around 1 to 1.5 feet or 30 to 45 centimeters in body length, but large individuals up to 2 feet or 65 centimeters are not unheard of. The stoplight parrotfish has three life phases: juvenile, initial, and terminal. The stoplight parrotfish is a protogynous hermaphrodite, which shows full sexual dichromatism, meaning that it changes its sex from female to male during its lifespan, and its color changes with the sex change. As such, the colors of the stoplight parrotfish in the initial phase, when it could either be male or female, are dramatically different from those in the terminal phase, when it is definitely male. During the juvenile and initial phase, the parrotfishes are colored brown with a red belly. During the terminal phase, the parrotfishes are a vivid green color with yellow spots at the tail base of their caudal fin. However, some males do not change color at the same time they change sex, therefore becoming female mimic males, also termed initial phase males. They are harem-forming fishes, and territorial terminal phase males defend areas that are shared with 1 to 14 initial phase parrotfishes, whom with they mate year-round. During spawning, a female stoplight parrotfish will lay anywhere from 5,500 to 68,000 eggs, which will hatch in around 25 hours. Under ideal conditions, a stoplight parrotfish may live up to 30 years. Next up, we have Mantis, commonly known as the devil's flower mantis or giant flower mantis, is a monotypic genus of mantises in the family Impucidae, which contains a single species, Idolomantis diabolica. The Idolomantis is native to the sub-Saharan African countries of Ethiopia, Kenya, Malawi, Somalia, Tanzania, South Sudan, and Uganda, where it tends to inhabit areas with flowering shrubs and trees such as jungles, forests, gardens, and wood savanna. Idolomantis are ambush predators which hunt via climbing onto suitable flowering plants and mimicking the petals of such flowers, and then luring pollinating insects such as flies, beetles, moths, butterflies, bees, and wasps. Idolomantises are themselves eaten by lizards, large frogs, and various birds. When faced with a predator, an Idolomantis will initiate a diamatic display, in which they flare out their wings and raise their forelegs to expose the vibrant coloration depicted on their underside. They then shift left to right in an attempt to intimidate or confuse said predator. Female idolomantises are larger, reaching around 5.1 inches or 13 centimeters in length, compared to males at around 3.9 inches or 10 centimeters. Newborn nymphs of Idolomantis diabolica are shiny black in color and mimic ants in appearance. Older nymphs are beige to light brown in color and mimic dry leaves. As adults, the colors form a white and green striped pattern. Before reproducing, mature females display dimorphic features in an attempt to attract males. Females lower the tips of their abdomens and raise their wings slightly to expose more of the uppermost side of the abdomen, thus releasing pheromones to attract a mate. However, sexual cannibalism is prominent among pairs of Diabolica, particularly those in captivity. Females in the process of copulating often adopt predatory instincts, which often conclude with the female devouring the head of the male. A female deposits some 10 to 50 eggs in an ootheca, which will hatch after incubating for roughly 50 days. After hatching, the nymphs feed upon small insects such as houseflies and fruit flies. Males develop into adults after undergoing eidesis about 7 times into successive instars, while females mature after around 8 instars. Under ideal conditions, an idolomantis may live little over 1 year. This critter right here is known as Gorgonocephalus arcticus, better known as the Arctic gorgon basket star. It is a species of basket star in the class Ophiuroidea. The genus name comes from the Greek gorgos, meaning dreaded, and cephalus, meaning head, and refers to the similarity between these echinoids and the gorgon's head from Greek mythology, with its coiled serpents for hair. G. arcticus is found throughout the Arctic, North Pacific, and North Atlantic Oceans, from the North Pole to as far south as Cape Cod, Massachusetts. These creatures live along the ocean floor from the subtidal zone to up to 4,920 feet or 1,500 meters in depth. They can be found in all manner of ocean floor habitats, but often prefer areas with muddy, sandy, or loose rocky substrates. Arctic gorgon basket stars are suspension feeders, which feed upon planktonic organisms such as zooplankton and micronecton by extending its arms vertically into the water column. For larger particles, G. arcticus stars wave the tips of their outstretched arms to catch plankton in the current by entangling them with rings of hooks that encircle the arms. Once the arms come into contact with these larger plankton, they curl inwards to further ensnare the prey. Reaching up to 15.75 inches or 40 centimeters in diameter, Arctic gorgon basket stars, like other members of the Echinoderm taxa, sport 5 arms extending from a central disc. The central disc is typically yellow in color and sports scales over the upper surface of the disc, whilst the mouth is on the lower surface of the disc and is framed by 5 jaws bearing spine-like teeth and papillae. The mouth leads to a sac-like stomach extending into a blind pouch. The oral side of the disc contains bursal slits on each side of the base of each arm. The slits are openings for respiratory bursae, which allow for gas exchange. The highly branched and divided arms can react to waterborne chemicals, changing lighting, currents, and vibrations or physical contact, and are used by the star to capture food and move around. Arctic gorgon basket stars reproduce via broadcast spawning, with the larvae having a free-swimming stage before they become more bottom-dwelling. Under ideal conditions, an Arctic gorgon basket star may live up to 35 years. Next up is Elaphodus cephalophus, better known as the tufted deer or tufted vampire deer. It is a species of deer endemic to China, Tibet, and Myanmar, where it typically inhabits both evergreen and deciduous forests and mountainous environments between 1,600 to 14,800 feet, or 500 to 4,500 meters in elevation. These crepuscular deer typically live alone or in mated pairs, preferring habitats with good ground cover where they feed upon leaves, twigs, fruit, and different types of vegetation. Tufted deer are preyed upon by dholes, leopards, tigers, and bears, reaching 20 to 28 inches or 50 to 70 centimeters tall at the shoulder and weighing 37 to 66 pounds or 17 to 30 kilograms. The tufted deer is similar to a muntjac in appearance, but the longer necks and legs give it a slightly leaner appearance. The coat is coarse with short, stiff hairs, being almost black in winter and chocolate brown in summer. The lips, tips of the ears, and the underside of the tails are white. These deer get their main common name from a brown to black tuft of horseshoe-shaped hair that is present on the forehead and upper neck. The other common name, vampire deer, comes from that the males sport long, fang-like upper canines, which usually stick out past the lips. The mating season occurs between September and December, during which the loud barks of the males can be easily heard. After a 6-month pregnancy, a mother tufted deer will give birth to 1-2 fawns in late spring or early summer. Under ideal conditions, a tufted deer may reach sex maturity around 1 to 2 years of age and may live up to 15. Next up, we have Phacephalophora, commonly known as the fried egg jellyfish or egg yolk jellyfish. They are a monotypic family of jellyfish known as the Phacephalophoridae, which contains a single species, Phacephalophora kampschatica. These cool water jellyfish can be found in temperate and frigid regions throughout many of the world's oceans, often in and around deep water basins in which they can participate in the daily vertical migration of marine life to the depths during the day and towards the surface at night. Fried egg jellyfish are most notable for being drawn to hypoxia zones, which many other animals avoid. The jellyfish is able to withstand the low oxygen levels for several hours at a time, and it is thought that they do so to scavenge dead organisms and to avoid predators. Fried egg jellyfish feed upon a great variety of taxa, including zooplankton, euphasids, cladocerans, decapod zoea, fish, including fish eggs and larvae, and especially other jellyfish, which they capture utilizing their long cyanosite-lined tentacles. Fried egg jellyfish have a symbiotic relationship with graceful rock crab larvae, in which the crabs feed upon the parasitoid amphipod Hyperia medusarum, which also resides on the bill of the jellyfish. Fried egg jellyfish are themselves eaten regularly by leatherback sea turtles, red rock crabs, kelp crabs, and seven-armed octopuses. Reaching up to 2 feet or 60 centimeters in bell diameter and sporting 16 tentacle clusters, each cluster having a few dozen tentacles, which each measure up to 20 feet or 6 meters in length. This genus can be easily identified by the yellow coloration in the center of its body, which closely resembles an egg yolk, hence the common name. The body of this jellyfish does not contain any respiratory, circulatory, or excretory systems. Instead, it uses its large surface area and specialized diploblastic membranes to accomplish these things. During the fried egg jellyfish's life cycle, it alternates between an asexual benthic polyp stage attached to rocks and piers and a sexual platonic medusa stage, which reproduces in the water column. Both males and females occur in the plankton form, and the life cycle begins by eggs being fertilized, then developing into a panulet that are covered in cilia. These panulae swim for roughly 3 to 5 days, for settling by attaching to the bottom and transforming or metamorphosizing into the polyp or scyphistomenae stage. Once in the polyp stage, the scyphistomenae undergoes a series of 2, 4, 8, and 16 tentacle stages of development. When the polyp is mature, with 30 to 44 tentacles present, asexual proliferation occurs via side budding, 1 bud per polyp, and strobulating. During strobulation, the polyp is lengthened and then thinned, while tentacles are shortened and thickened. In a mature ephare are released. As ephare mature, the tentacles elongate and become filiform. Medusae reach larger bell diameters, additional tentacles form, and oral arms elongate. Gastric systems develop in a centrifugal direction. After roughly 9 months, sexual maturity is achieved, and reproduction can now be achieved within the water column. The cycle then all repeats all over again. Next up is Columbia talpacoti, better known as the ruddy ground dove. It is a species of tropical dove native throughout much of Central and South America, being found from Mexico south to Brazil, Peru, and Paraguay, as well as northern Argentina, as, as well as the Caribbean islands of Trinidad and Tobago. Here, these doves tend to inhabit drier and more open areas such as grasslands, scrublands, rocky mountains, agricultural lands, open woodlands, and city parks. These doves will sometimes form loose flocks, but are also known to be notably very territorial. This species also joins mixed species flocks with other small doves, including Inca doves, common ground doves, plain-breasted ground doves. They feed primarily upon seeds and grains, but will also eat the occasional fruit, nut, insect, snail, or human food, such as bread. Ruddy ground doves are themselves preyed upon by various large snakes, cats, dogs, raccoons, foxes, hawks, kestrels, and falcons. Ruddy ground doves reach around 4.7 to 7.1 inches, or 12 to 18 centimeters in length, and 1.2 to 2 ounces, or 35 to 56 grams in weight. The adult males have a pale gray head and neck and a rich rufous underpart, as well as black spotted on the wing coverts. The underparts are a paler brown, and the tail is edged in black. The underwings are cinnamon and black in coloration. The female is gray-brown rather than rufous, and has less contrast between the head and the body than the male. These birds are socially monogamous and form strong bonds. Mated pairs will build a nest near the center of their territory, which is typically a sturdy, shallow cup made of straws, sticks, and roots, placed in the fork of a tree or shrub, or occasionally on the roof of a building. Here the doves lay 2 eggs, which are incubated in shifts by both parents around 11 to 13 days. The chicks fledge after around 2 weeks, and under ideal conditions, a ruddy ground dove may live up to 10 years. And last but not least, we have Gaiusia princeps, better known as the black prince copepod. It is a species of mesopelagic copepod that can be found in temperate and tropical waters throughout the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. Here they tend to spend their days in twilight and midnight zones of the ocean, between 500 to 3,600 feet, or 150 to 1,100 meters in deep. However, these tiny crustaceans are known to participate in the diurnal migration of the open ocean, wherein millions of animals, great and small, travel up towards the surface to feed upon various other animals during the night before returning to the depths come daylight. Black prince copepods feed primarily upon zooplankton and phytoplankton. They are themselves eaten by all manner of larger organisms. Reaching up to 0.5 inches or 1.27 centimeters in length, they are remarkably large for a copepod. The black prince copepod is a bioluminescent species, with both males and females producing a vivid blue light. Because of this, black prince copepods are often utilized by molecular biologists in the production of leucophorese, a bright bioluminescent pigment dye which is often used to help visualize various experiments and medical tests. As always, take care to my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Hope you all have a wonderful day.